Welcome to episode 13 of the Connecticut Wedding Channel. My name is Jim Collins, and I'm the owner of Collins Entertainment. If you're enjoying the content of this show, please be sure to subscribe to the Connecticut Wedding Channel on YouTube or find us on Facebook under the same name and ask to join our group. Be sure to share our episodes and give a thumbs up. Joining us on our show today, we have award-winning Culinary Director Louise Albin from the Indian Hill Country Club. Louise, thanks so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
So for couples that are looking for a venue and catering services, what are some typical questions that you have couples and asking basically when they want some information?
It's usually how many people we accommodate in the venue, if there's any extra bells and whistles, which we absolutely do provide, given that there's a lovely gazebo that many couples choose to actually hold their ceremony in. And we also have a bride's room that was just recently redone where all the girls can get ready. We can provide snacks and beverages. And there's also a completely opposite ends of the facility of what's called the game room, which is perfect for the guys to get ready in. There's a pool table there. There's ping pong. We often provide sandwiches and beverages, alcoholic or non. And it's great because they can be comfortable in getting ready at the venue versus having to arrive ready to go and really have no place to sort of chill out and relax before the services. And if it's spring through fall and the weather is lovely, directly across from the gazebo is a lovely patio. So we could actually start cocktail hour there and then move into the ballroom for the meal. And we offer 3 different packages at the club. Café Louise has been in business for over 24 years, and we just took over the food service at the Indian Hill Country Club. However, we are well-seasoned caterers in the greater Hartford area. So price, what it includes, how long they can have the room, do we offer any additional services, can we provide a florist, which we can. I've worked with many event planners if they want it to be exceptionally detailed above and beyond what we can provide. So it's a one-stop shop. We have access to some referrals for bands or DJs. So, even if somebody wanted someone to help them out, like day of event planner, which is typical of bar and bat mitzvahs because there's so many details and set up the candy table, the takeaway gifts for the kids, that kind of thing. So it's, we offer quite a few different opportunities, different packages. They often want to know different pricing on bar service, like an open bar sometimes for 1 hour and then switch to just wine, beer, and soft drinks, or open bar throughout. And then obviously there's the premium, the top shelf, or if they just want sort of basic bar liquors and wine and beer. And we go over that in detail as far as pricing and what their budgets are and all. Sometimes if they're very budget conscious, we might do like an open bar for the first hour or two, and then it turns into a cash bar situation.
So it sounds very flexible, but it's a beautiful landscape too.
Yes, and what I've always said over the years to potential clients, brides and grooms, is there's usually so much more detailed planning to a wedding that we actually, and sometimes it's a year and a half out before the wedding actually happens.
Right.
What I always say is you need to feel comfortable with whoever you select at the venue you select.
Absolutely.
Whether you're coming to you or whether you're coming to Indian Hill. Because I've always said over the years, it's like I practically become friends with you. Café Louise is known for being very flexible. A lot of people come and they want like specialty menu items, whether it's a cultural thing or theme. And I have an amazing chef. And so it's actually fun to come up with a special menu just to suit the client's needs.
At Collins Entertainment, we do the same thing. So when we meet with couples, they have 2 planning meetings basically. So they really get to know their MC and the person that's going to be their entertainment for the evening. And I think that's huge, just so the couples feel very comfortable knowing exactly what they're getting. And so the day of, they could just sit back, relax, and know that everything's going to be taken care of for them.
It's a huge matter of trust.
Absolutely.
It's a huge event. It's usually a big price tag item. So they need to feel comfortable with and trust that everything will go off without a hitch.
Absolutely. And having that communication too with all the vendors as well. There's a lot of detail, as you mentioned, that goes into weddings or mitzvahs with having a day of coordinator at the facility, and also the master of ceremonies who is just bringing the whole party together too, and making sure everything flows smoothly. Because number one, we want to make sure that food comes out hot, and that we're not delaying any of that by not communicating effectively with a venue. And so that's very important. So that's one of the main goals, obviously, is to make sure they're paying a good amount of money for their day. So as far as that timeline goes and working with other vendors, can you explain that process?
Well, if they're just working with us and we're not adding an additional event planner, but if there's either a DJ or a band, then we go over I'll go over timing, or Karine, our general manager, goes over the timing
Mm-hmm.
for their wedding plans, how they want it to flow from arrival time. Let's say they're coming from a church and they're not using the gazebo,
Right.
how long cocktail hour is. And you usually have to allow for a little bit of flexibility, 15 minutes, half an hour. Others want it to go off exactly at that timing, and we move things along. And then coordinating with the DJ, photographer, band, MC. So whether it's, corral everyone into the room and sitting at their places so the announcements can happen of the new Mr. and Mrs.
Yeah.
To first dance. Is there going to be a toast, and at what point is that? Sometimes it's early in the evening. Is there going to be a prayer before the meal or not? And just every step of the way. First father-daughter dance, what time they want to cut the cake. If they're not cutting the cake, what time they want dessert served, up until the end of the event. Are they throwing the bouquet and doing still traditional things or not? So it's really step by step, hour by hour, so that the whole evening flows beautifully, and it's the most wonderful day of their lives.
Right. And having that communication with vendors so everybody's on the same page. And so what we do, we'll send out an itinerary and a timeline to all the vendors we work with 60 days in advance. So that way we have enough time to talk about things beforehand. And you can plan as much as possible and have a timeline, but sometimes things happen like 10 minutes later, something will happen 5 minutes before. You got to feel it out and just be flexible in working with the couples. But at least that way there's, let's say that we know that dinner or the meal is going to start roughly about 6:30, then we're going to make sure that we create that timeline with a couple to say, okay, well, we're going to do introductions and toasts before that, so that the meal starts right at 6:30 and it isn't pushed back to, say, 7 o'clock or something along those lines. But things do happen from time to time, and I found in my experience that as long as you have the communication and you're saying, okay, roughly about 5, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, this is what we plan to do too. If anything did change, and let's say the ceremony went a little longer or whatever may happen, but just having that communication with everybody is huge. And everybody feels better too. So, because it could be stressful because everyone's focused so much on their part. The entertainment's focused on what they have to do next. And you're focused on making sure that everything's perfect as far as the food goes. So to not have to worry about some of those other details and focus on the tasks that you have to do, it obviously is going to ensure, as you mentioned, the smooth flowing celebration.
Right.
Inclement weather on the day of for a ceremony. How do you work with couples with that?
Well, then, so let's say they've booked the gazebo and it's pouring rain.
Yep.
Then obviously we have to move everything inside. What we've done is set up the room like theater style. Push, if it's all in the same ballroom and they have to get married in the ballroom versus outside, then set up some theater style, some sort of area where the ceremony will take place. And then we might move cocktail hour into one of our smaller rooms so that we can set the room so it's ready for dinner. So there's always ways. And if it's going to be pouring rain, we usually will know like a day or two in advance.
Right.
We just make it work as smoothly as possible.
What are some things about the Indian Hill Country Club that stands out amongst other venues?
Well, our reputation. I mean, yes, we have not been at Indian Hill Country Club for that long. However, I've been catering for over 24 years, and we tend to win top awards for Hartford Magazine and CT Now, in the top 3 at least, for, year after year. So quality of service, exceptional quality of food. I'm known for, we're known for attention to detail, highly professional staff. I mean, I just have standards as far as our uniforms, how they be with people. They always, they can be personable, how they're helping people every step of the way. If somebody is looking for a restroom, you don't just like point down the hall and say it's down there on the right, like lead them down,
Right.
and show them the way. Just the extra little special steps that we've always been known for.
And the same thing when we're set up too at the venues we perform at, as the first guest arrives, we're answering questions for them too. So if there's questions about where's the restroom, saying, oh, I don't know, I'm just the entertainment, you know, we're finding out for them any questions they have. So where do we put the gifts? Things like that.
Yeah. And what I've always told my staff is if you don't know, then go find someone who will know, you know, ask them to just hold on a minute, let me go get my boss.
Right.
Maitre d', you know, someone who would know and would be able to help them.
I'm sure you must do plenty of preparation for couples that are, let's say, having outdoor weddings. And can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, we're actually on the list of preferred caterers in many of the local museums, the Hillstead Museum in Farmington, for example,
Right.
the Mark Twain House, Harriet Beecher Stowe, on and on and on.
Right.
There's a whole list on our website. And same sort of thing. There is a lot more to coordinate if it's an outdoor wedding at their home under tents. Then you're bringing everything in, depending on the size of the wedding. But if it's upwards of 100 or 200 people, then you're also talking about making sure that there's garbage dumpsters, portable bathrooms, you know,
Right.
a cook tent for my staff with all the cooking equipment and grills and stoves and refrigerators. So it's a whole other level of detail and planning. Obviously, like if it's the Hillstead Museum, they're so used to it depending on how large it is. But if it is under tents rather than in their little venue, same thing, you know, the garbage cans, you know, everything, every little detail, extra tables. Does there need to be valet service to help people, you know, who park their cars and help them get into the place if they're elderly or disabled. So it's a lot more details and it's fun.
I find it so amazing how it all comes together too. Whenever working outdoor weddings, whether it's at the couple's home or their parents' home or just at the Hillstead Museum, as you mentioned, it fascinates me because just how everything is prepped outdoors and done so efficiently and smoothly. I think it has a lot to do with having the right number of staff, obviously, with you, but
Right.
I can imagine how much more challenging it is for those outdoors, you know, celebrations as opposed to just having a place where you're indoors and having that established space. You have to create that everywhere you go. So Louise, we're going to take a quick look at the menu and show couples and clients the different options that are offered here for your award-winning menu. So let's take a look. Let's walk through the menu a little bit here.
If it's wintertime, the brie en croûte, brie and puff pastry, which is always hugely popular, and warm brie, who doesn't love it? Where a lot of these are a little different than like a typical menu. Little mini burger sliders with cheddar cheese are actually served on there, not served in bread, it's served on a waffle fry. So people really love sort of the different little take on a burger slider. Anything seafood, we do a lobster and avocado salad in a phyllo cup that is to die for.
Oh yeah, okay.
Exceptional. I found this niche marketing of vegan weddings. We did a large vegan wedding at the Hillstead Museum about 4 or 5 years ago, and we blogged about it. Vegans are finding us. We tend to do at least a couple vegan weddings a year, and the food is delicious. The first time we did it, we thought, oh my gosh, scratch your head, what are we going to do? And you start, you know, thinking of, well, there's lots of recipes and salads that we have that are completely vegan. And it's been a very creative process and very fun. And I love working with vegans. Tomato toast is very popular. Both the Saigon chicken salad tartlets and the tarragon chicken salad tartlets are hugely popular. Usually like something beef tenderloin. We do a deep beef tenderloin on a crostini with horseradish cream. So the Belgian endive with gorgonzola pomegranate balsamic reduction is not only beautiful, but also delicious. And if it's a small, there are some things that are not on there that we tend to do for like fancier dinner parties, smaller weddings, which is a deviled quail egg with caviar. Because they're these tiny little niblets and they present absolutely beautiful and they're delicious. So it's basically a deviled egg, but it's a quail egg. So it's like a fourth of the size of a regular deviled egg. And it's a lovely thing for some of the fancier events.
Very nice. And
Shooters in the summer are fun as well as in the winter. We serve them in little white espresso cups, so it's just, you know, a little sip and it presents beautifully, and some of the soups are delicious, and it's just a nice little touch.
very nice. So what an extensive menu and options for clients and couples looking for some amazing, amazing food here. So thank you for sharing that. Louise, what's the best way for couples and clients to get in touch with you?
Either contact me. My email address is louise@cafelouise, one word.com, or our general manager at the Indian Hill Country Club. Her name is Corinne, Corinne, at cafelouise.com. Or you can call us either at our West Hartford location, 860-561-0160, or the Indian Hill Country Club number, 860-666-5600.
Perfect. Louise, thanks again for joining us today. If you're feeling overwhelmed about the process of selecting your vendors or just need great information about wedding professionals in general, tune in again next week. We hope this has been a great resource for you. And remember, all this is put together for you because your event matters. Until next time, I'm Jim Collins. Thanks for watching.